Hi, public speaking. This is a short midweek update, and right now you're in the middle of week 9 and you are working on your informative speeches. So we got started on those speeches in the last couple of weeks, and now this week you're like still working on it. So hopefully, well, in fact, I know everybody's picked a topic. You already picked a topic. You did that last week. I gave everybody feedback on that assignment already. So go check that out if you haven't already done so. Although in this section, the topic choices were really strong. It doesn't always work out that way, but in your class, you were like, this is a good topic, and a lot of them were really interesting or novel, so that's great. Now, on that same note, if you decide that you need to adjust your topic for whatever reason, you still have some wiggle room in which you can do that. There's, sometimes, like maybe you need to make it a little more specific, or maybe you get into the research and you're like, oh, there's nothing on this, or it starts to feel too persuasive instead of being informative. You can make some adjustments. That's totally fine. And on that same note, so you picked a topic and now you're in the writing stage. In fact, this week's all about research. So you're researching and writing, and those two things go like this together. You kind of have to do the research, the writing, the organization, the planning all at the same time. And sometimes you come back to those things. So I might write a little bit, do some research, come back, do some more writing, organize, etc. And that's totally normal. That's the stage that you're supposed to be at, especially right now. And then you keep doing that a few times, and then you rehearse, and then you might revise a little bit. So you probably heard an English instructor somewhere say like writing is revising, or some kind of cliche like that. Writing is rewriting. Those are cliches, but they are a cliche for a reason. It's because they're true. And so that's why we repeat them over and over, is because you really, to give you a really dramatic example, I read this quote one time that said a poem is never finished, it's just abandoned. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of true. Like, you're never really done with something. When it comes to writing, you just kind of like get to a point where you have to click submit, or whatever the case is. So with your speech, it's the exact same process. You just have this level of rehearsal as well, where you also need to rehearse. So keep that in mind as you're going forward. Nothing is completely done until you actually like click submit on that outline and present your speech. And then after that, you walk away, right? But until then, you're always in this process of revising. And again, all those pieces really go back and forth. So when you do the preparation assignment about your main ideas, and you're going to get feedback on that, that's something else to think about is, were these the best choices? Are they the right in the order? It's not that those are 100% the ones you're going to keep. It's that those are your ideas right now, and you are going to build on them, adjust them, change them, whatever you need to do over the course of time. And then the last thing I wanted to mention in my quick Wednesday morning update, very quick, less than 5 minutes, is to keep in mind that next week you're going to do the peer review. So that's more about revising, right? Last week we're working up ideas. This week we're researching and working up ideas, and we're writing. And so you can see my typey hands. You're gonna do peer reviews next week, just like you did last time. It's actually a little bit more complex than last time, but in any case, next week you will have a draft of your speech due, and you're gonna submit it to another peer review panel. I'm gonna add a couple components to it to make it more useful. But the point being is you need a draft by then. So, and you're gonna be rehearsing again next week too. So that's my announcement for today. And reach out if you need anything. The topics in this class were really good, so I felt pretty good about it. But this is kind of the time when students might be starting to ask questions about organization and stuff. So go back to think about the storytelling speech, the section on outlining. You probably are going to have 2 to 4 main ideas for your speech. Most speeches end up being 3. 1 is not enough, then your sub ideas are probably your main ideas. 2 will work in many cases. 3 is oftentimes the most common, and then 4 can work as well, especially I just listened or watched a draft of a speech the other day where the student had 4, and they were 4 shorter ones, but together with the introduction and conclusion, the speech is going to be like 6 to 6.5 minutes. So if you saw why they picked those, it made sense. Like there was a reason why there were 4 and not 3. But 5 is typically too many. So that's what you're kind of trying to think about right now. How can I organize my topic into 4 main categories? All right, have an excellent day.